So E3 is less than 2 weeks away at this point. It is right around the corner, and this year's E3 seems like it is going to be massive. Well, you can tell it's going to be big because the E3 announcements have basically already started. Everyone is trying to get in their big announcements before E3 even starts. So this is a big topic to tackle. Where do we want to start?
Obviously with Nintendo.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Well, even just Nintendo is a big topic. So that's the other thing about this E3 is each company could almost run its own little E3 with all of the content that we're anticipating. But there are some notable exceptions. So let's start with So not everyone can go to E3.
Right.
E3 is in LA, so a lot of people would have to travel, plus the tickets are very expensive. So this year, it seems like they're doing a really good job of putting it out in places where people can see it online.
Yes.
What do you have a list of those by any chance?
Yes. So on everybody's official webpage is one spot. Personally, our favorite is going to be on YouTube. A lot of people actually stream it, so that's a good place to get it.
Yeah.
And then also on Twitch. Twitch is another great place where
Definitely
a lot of people
on Twitch.
stream it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to go live for some of this stuff. We are going to try to stream it throughout the day, but we will try to kind of pop in and pop out with live YouTube as much as we can. We'll try to either put it out on Twitter or on Facebook when we go live. So we'll have links to both our Twitter and our Facebook in the description below. So, if you're at work, you can at least kind of watch our reactions and things like that. So E3 this year, June 11th through June 13th. Now, we didn't take those days off, so I don't know how much of that we're going to be able to watch, but they start at 9 a.m. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a jam-packed couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk through. Now, our channel is all about Nintendo and Nintendo Switch, so we're just going to talk through the Nintendo stuff. But I'm anticipating this video is going to be 3 hours long, so strap in. No, I'm just kidding. We'll try to keep it nice and tight for you here. But yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah. So Nintendo, they are hosting 2 competitive games at E3. So one of them being Super Smash Brothers, which we usually hear about, and then also Splatoon 2.
Yeah, that's really cool. You know what I didn't see, though? It seems like Nintendo has kind of abandoned ARMS. Do you remember that game?
No.
Oh, it's the one where they had like the kind of springy arms and you had to like you
okay.
grab the Joy-Cons and you kind of they were really, really hoping, it seemed like they were really hoping that was going to be kind of an esports phenomenon, and it just never really seemed to take off. It looked fun, but it just never looked like it was an esports kind of type game. So, it looks like with Super Smash Bros. And Splatoon 2 being the only 2 competitive games that they show, I think ARMS is kind of done at this point.
Yeah.
So,
also, we're looking forward to some particular announcements from Nintendo. So one of them that everyone probably already knows about and is looking forward to is the new Pokemon games.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Yes, I'm excited about these. Yeah, the first main generation games on the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, the 8th generation.
Yeah. So that's super exciting. We haven't gotten. I was going to say we haven't gotten many details. We haven't gotten any details yet, really.
We've gotten some. So we've gotten some trailers
tidbits,
and everything.
yeah.
And we know the first 3 starters. So
Yes.
that we do know.
Yeah, okay. I want to see their evolutions.
Yes, I want to
Which
see
starter are you going with?
Score Bunny.
Of course, everyone's going with Score Bunny. I would say let me know what starter you're going with in the comments, but it's going to be just Score Bunny, like 80 comments of Score Bunny. And one person is like, I'm going to go use Pikachu or something like that. Or Eevee. Everyone's loving the Score Bunny. The fire starters are always the most popular, though, because Torchic was, I think, the most popular. Everyone loves Fennekin.
Yeah.
So it seems like the fire starters are always kind of the most popular.
They're always the best.
Well, yeah, Charizard. I mean, it goes kind of back to the original one. So really cool. Yeah, I want to see more. I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield are kind of those games that we're just going to get.
Yeah.
So you're going to get it. It's almost like, I think we mentioned this in another video, but it's almost like Endgame. You can do certain things when you know people are going to buy it.
Yeah.
And one of those things is you can kind of dribble out the details rather than trying to like build up the hype.
Right.
Because you've got a built-in audience.
Yeah.
So, I'm interested to see how much or how little they show of it at E3 this year.
So even before E3, though, they are actually having a direct presentation.
Oh.
That is going to be on Wednesday, June 5th.
Okay.
At 6 o'clock, and it's going to be about 15 minutes long.
June 5th. Okay, so that's, so if it's on June 5th, we will probably go live with that one as well. We're going to try and start doing a lot more YouTube live stuff for some of these gaming reveals, because I know, especially in some direct messages, some of you would let me know that, you can't, because you have day jobs or things like that, you can't necessarily watch these when they go live. So what we're going to try and do is go live with these and do some kind of in the moment commentary. So that way, as you have time, you can go back and watch it and kind of see what's going on.
So they'll probably show some Sword and Shield on the direct presentation. They'll probably end up leaving the bigger stuff for E3.
Yeah.
And then I know there is a huge cult for Animal Crossing. Yeah. So personally, I've never played any Animal Crossing games, but I've heard...
Did you play the mobile one?
No.
I tried it for a little bit, and it was kind of repetitive. But yeah. It was cute, though.
Yeah.
They're really cute.
Is it kind of like Stardew Valley?
A little bit. So it is kind of like Stardew Valley, where you have these little errands that you run, and one of them is like, oh, go get me like 8 apples or something like that, and then you just kind of build up your town over time. It seemed more where like in Stardew Valley, it was more self-driven. Yeah, like you were just sort of like discovering things to do. In Animal Crossing, it is very kind of quest-driven, where they give you little quests to do, and
so like Warrior Light, go make me a sandwich.
Kind of, yeah. It's very much like, hey, you run this town, go get me 2 apples. Like it was kind of like busy work a little bit. Yeah, it was cute. It was fun. The only reason I got out of it, the mobile version of it, was because other people stopped playing. Yeah, it was fun when people were playing, but when people stopped getting into it, it just kind of, you're logging in every day for nothing, really. Yeah. So, but. Yeah, so they're going to reveal some Animal Crossing at E3?
Yes. So they've already announced an Animal Crossing is going to be released this year.
Okay.
So I'm guessing more details on that. And then also I was thinking they've been talking about releasing new Nintendo Switches altogether. So probably some themed Nintendo Switches coming our way.
Now there was an Animal Crossing themed 3DS.
Yes.
And it was a 3DS, not a 3DS XL. So... with all this talk about... Now, Nintendo did say... We were wrong in a previous video that I'll link to right up here. We did comment. We thought that they're... Just like everybody else, Nintendo was going to reveal a Switch Mini and a Switch XL or Switch Pro at E3. It would have been the perfect time to do it. They've already come out and kind of emphatically stated no new hardware at E3. But what they didn't say was no new hardware after E3. So, I mean, Nintendo, I feel like that's a move they would pull.
Probably.
Especially since they're a very Japanese company. They could be like, nope, we said exactly what we said. No new hardware at E3. And then literally on June 14th, they're like, new Switch hardware. It's like, well, okay, well, technically you were right. But a lot of articles are saying that we are going to see new Switch hardware, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the 3DS.
Yeah. And I remember when X and Y came out, they came out with new 3DS hardware for that. So I really wanted one of those. I never got my hands on one of those. I never did either. I really wanted the blue one.
There were so many of the special editions that I wanted. No, you were fortunate enough to get your hands on the Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu edition for the Nintendo Switch, which is super cool.
It's so pretty.
So, yeah, we're finally jumping on the collector's edition bandwagon here. But
I mean, we did get the Zelda 3DS.
Yes.
So I really love that thing. I'm never letting that one go.
Link Between Worlds. Yeah, really cool. Yeah. So I would be shocked if they don't release new Switch hardware soon at some point. Now, I don't know how quickly after E3 they're going to announce it. I was joking about the June 14th thing. My feeling is that they're going to give it a little bit of time, that they're going to let the games sort of simmer. And then as we get closer to the game's launch, my feeling is there's going to be a special Switch edition for Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, that would be nice.
That's a big enough game that I think we'll see a special edition.
Yeah.
The Pokemon Sword and Shield, I think there'll be a special edition for that.
Yes.
The only reason I could see them not talking new hardware this year is because we haven't seen many special editions. Yeah. And if you remember with the 3DS, right before the new hardware came out, in the 6 or 8 months prior, we started seeing some special releases, some different color options, things like that, and then boom, new hardware.
Yeah.
So I feel like they use that as kind of that last kind of push some systems out the door kind of thing, and then boom, new hardware, because they know nobody's going to buy the old one at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I have a lot of thoughts about that. I might even do a whole other video on my predictions on the Switch Mini and Switch Pro, which I still think are coming. I still think it's going to be 2 systems, but I don't want to spend too much time here speculating. I'll link to another video where I talk more about that.
So what else could be released for Nintendo? A lot of people are saying either a Mario or a Zelda game. So Mario, I'm thinking no, because there's so many Mario games coming out right now.
Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, not to cut you off, but especially with Mario Maker getting a story mode.
Oh, yeah.
That makes me think probably no. And we got new Super Mario Brothers U or Wii or whichever one it was.
Yeah.
Or like we got Mario. What was the other Mario game that came out?
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah. Well, that was last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still pretty big, though.
It's still pretty. Yeah, that's the thing, is that they're doing an event for it. They're doing it on the road for it.
Yeah.
And they're still kind of touting it as a recent game.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're not ready for a new standalone Mario Brothers game yet. I don't think.
So I really, really hope it's going to be a new Zelda one. But a lot of people are thinking no, just because Breath of the Wild is still a main game.
But I feel like the DLC for that one's over at this point.
Yeah.
So I think they could tease.
I hope so.
Yeah. My anticipation is we get a tease for the next Zelda project, especially because Cadence of Hyrule was so well received. I think we'll get a tease. And I also think... I think we're about due for a little bit of gameplay footage or a little teaser for Metroid Prime 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Is that where you were going with that?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Somewhat. So, yes, I hope that they give us a little bit more information on it. But there was that whole thing where they actually did come out and they said that development of the game, it didn't reach the standards that they were seeking.
I remember that.
So they ended up giving it back to Retro Studios,
Yes.
who made the original trilogy, which is actually probably going to be a good thing. So they already know what they're doing. They know where they want it to go. So they're probably not anywhere near being done, but they'll probably give us a little bit of something, hopefully.
And I agree with you there. I think it is a good thing. I think anytime the executives or the leadership behind a creative project can take a step back and say, hey, look, we're not reaching the quality that we want. It shows that they're not so much focused on the dollars that game is going to make. They are focused on, and it's not just a game, it's any creative project, right? Look at what happened with Rogue One.
Yeah.
They took a step back. They said, hey, look, this is not the product we want. We don't care about the release date. Just make it a good product, right? And we got a better movie out of it.
Yeah. I really enjoy Rogue One.
Yeah, it was a great movie. I think the same thing is going to happen here. I think whatever the version of that of Prime 4 that they're leaving on the cutting room floor, I think that game would have been a disappointment.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're taking this moment to kind of step back, say, hey, look, this isn't the quality that we wanted. And I like that they communicated that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And I really want it to be a good game, especially for you, because I know how much you've loved Metroid.
Of the three, I think Metroid is my favorite, and we have just gotten so many bad Metroid games.
Yeah.
And when I say of the three, I mean the kind of trilogy or the trinity of Zelda, Mario, Metroid, right? Those are kind of the big three of Nintendo.
Oh, Pokemon.
But Pokemon is kind of its own thing. But like when you go back to the 80s, like the original Nintendo, it was kind of those three. And I feel like lately Metroid for this generation it's been more Mario Zelda, right? Mario Zelda, where Metroid has kind of gotten the short end of the stick there.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously Samus is like one of my favorite Nintendo characters, and we just keep getting bad versions of her, and we keep getting bad games. So I hope that Metroid Prime 4 is a return to the Prime version of like the Prime 1, 2, and 3. Like Prime Hunters and those sorts of things.
But to really stress your point, I'm glad that they did come out and they actually did say that, and they're actually taking it seriously instead of just being like, okay, well, this is the game that came out of it, so here you go, hope for the best, you know? So I'm glad they're taking it seriously. I'm glad they're reworking it. I'm expecting a really great game.
Absolutely. Yeah. So great. So that's Metroid Prime. That's our thoughts there about the Nintendo releases. Now there's a couple other things that... now, obviously, there's a lot going on at E3. We're just kind of focusing on the Nintendo stuff because otherwise, with just the two of us and we have day jobs, there's no way we could cover everything that's happening at E3. But what are some of the other notable companies that are...
So the other ones is EA, so Electronic Arts. They're actually going to be doing theirs on Saturday, June 8th. So Nintendo's still going to be first. So theirs is going to be the 5th.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft/Xbox and Bethesda, almost forgot Bethesda there for a second, is going to be on Sunday, June 9.
Yeah.
So
Bethesda's got to come correct. Like, man, they've got a lot of ground to make up.
I'm not excited anymore on what Bethesda has to say at this point.
Yeah. Well, so the big rumor, and we won't linger on this too long, but the big rumor is that they're going to show Elder Scrolls 6.
Oh, okay.
I think they've said that they're not going to be showing any of Starfield or whatever that game is. It's like it's almost like a space Skyrim or something.
Never played that one.
But the big rumor is that they're going to show Elder Scrolls 6. Elder Scrolls Blades was not well received. It was like a mobile game.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 obviously was a flop.
Yeah.
Bethesda has got a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah,
a lot of
do.
the big... Blizzard has some ground to make up. Bethesda has some ground to make up. So, we're very fortunate that we're covering Nintendo because Nintendo seems like the top dog right now.
Yeah,
in
they're
terms
on an upward
of,
trajectory.
Oh, yeah,
so.
yeah, definitely. And in terms of like giving the customer what they want, giving the gamer what they want, it seems like Nintendo is the only one kind of out in front doing that right now. Microsoft had a flop with the Xbox All Digital Edition, the Xbox SAD.
Oh.
The Xbox One S All Digital,
Yeah.
SAD, right? I'm not hearing too much excitement about the PS5.
Yeah.
PS4's exclusives this year are very strong, but after that, that's it. So
not a lot of hype over the PlayStation 5 at all.
Not a ton of hype. Like people are excited about the hardware, but I feel like those are all the tech folks like me that really, people that build their own PCs and stuff like that are excited about the tech side of it.
Yeah.
If the most exciting thing about it is that Spider-Man loads faster,
Right.
okay, like I that's definitely not worth it. I need to see
Spider-Man was a great
more.
game.
It was a great game, but I need to see way more to convince me to upgrade.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't want to linger too long on that because I'm getting really far away from Nintendo. But I'm using all that to say this is a really exciting year for Nintendo.
Yeah.
And if they can deliver a solid E3 and beyond, and based on what we've already seen with Detective Pikachu, with Pokemon Sword and Shield, with a lot of the indie games coming to Switch, with the Switch being kind of a remaster platform, this is a super exciting year for Nintendo, and I feel like they have to hit this E3 really strong.
Yeah, they're going to. Yeah. But then the very last one I was going to announce for the other candidates out here that's participating is Ubisoft.
Oh, yeah. I love Ubisoft. Yeah.
And Square Enix.
Oh, nice.
So they are going to be on Monday, June 10th. I'm really excited to see what Square Enix announces. They're probably going to do a little... Do you think they're going to do anything for the new patch for Final Fantasy 14?
Probably not.
Because it's so close.
Yeah, it's so close. And because it has its own fan following and it has its own conventions.
Yeah.
I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is a game that has 3 worldwide conventions that are sold out every year.
Yeah. So
with
Shadowbringers probably isn't going to be part of
Shadowbringers
it.
is kind of its own thing. But what they are going to show, semi-confirmed, is Marvel's Avengers project.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's just being called Marvel's Avengers.
Yeah.
And they are going to show, I can't remember if they said gameplay or like some trailers or something like that. I feel like they did say gameplay, but this is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. They cannot mess this up. I mean, especially with Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 coming to the Switch, there is so much hype about that game.
Yeah.
I did kind of a video on it just because I'm really excited about the franchise, and that video is probably one of our most watched videos with like 2,000 or 3,000 views right now. People are hyped for this game. And because Marvel has had some failures with Marvel Heroes, with, obviously they let the Marvel Ultimate Alliance franchise languish for over 10 years. Disney Infinity was canceled. They've kind of not been coming strong to the gaming market. I feel like they, again, kind of like Nintendo, Square needs to hit this strong. They need to really, really show us why this game is important.
That would be amazing if a new Final Fantasy was announced as well.
That'd be awesome. Final Fantasy 16.
Or something.
Yeah.
Even a spin-off or something, like a new Tactics.
You know what? I feel like...
I always want Tactics.
I would love a Tactics game. And I feel like because there's been such a big focus on Final Fantasy this year on the Switch, I feel... I'm not basing this on any data or any news. I feel like Square is going to have a Switch announcement.
I hope so.
For Final Fantasy.
I really hope so.
Because there was this big deal, and they did make such a big deal about this is the first time a Final Fantasy game has come to a Nintendo system in X amount of years, and one of the specific taglines I saw was Final Fantasy on a cartridge again, like the perfect marriage, blah, blah, blah. There was all this language around Final Fantasy, Nintendo, Final Fantasy, Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like they were using that to kind of test the waters.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost them much to re-release a few games, but they were kind of seeing like, oh, does the market want Final Fantasy on Nintendo again? Because Nintendo's the front runner. And then that leads into E3 of them saying, oh, Final Fantasy whatever, Tactics 2 or something.
Weren't they also talking about bringing Final Fantasy 14 to the Nintendo Switch?
I don't know if you could. I think that was a hoax.
I think they were saying something about it was like crafting only or something
like that. There was some aspect of it that you could do, like your dailies or something like that. Yeah, I feel like that would be tough to do. I would love that. I know you would because you like the controller version. But I don't know. I feel like you are 100% right when you say that there is going to be something Final Fantasy related for Nintendo Switch at E3. There's got to be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a really big fan of Final Fantasy and Square Enix altogether, but I'm still pretty disappointed in Final Fantasy 15.
I am too. But you know what? I wouldn't mind, now that you said it out loud, I wouldn't mind a downsampled version of Final Fantasy 15 on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I know they did. Did they do Pocket Edition for the Switch? They did, right?
I think that was only for mobile.
I think it was for mobile, yeah. But I didn't really like the Pocket Edition. I think it would be cool if they could somehow bring Final Fantasy 15 to the Switch.
Yeah. It'd be really nice if they released the final 2 episodes of Final Fantasy 15.
Yes.
If that would just be an amazing surprise where they're like, hey, we're actually done with them.
Yeah,
and release them.
I don't think that's going to happen, especially after that book that they released. Like, I feel like they're kind of done with Final Fantasy 15.
I was most excited for those 2 episodes.
Me too.
And I am crushed that they did not add those episodes.
I really wanted episode RNA.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, you know what would be really cool is if they announced, like, so this is one thing that kind of does frustrate me, but also kind of excites me about Square Enix, is that they've shown now that they are more comfortable revisiting some of these Final Fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
So, with Final Fantasy VII, I think that was kind of the first time we saw, like, Dirge of Cerberus, right?
Yeah.
Another game set in that world. I think it would be cool if they did announce something like Final Fantasy 15, the Song of Aranea or something. Not a Final Fantasy 15 game, but a game set in that world.
Yeah.
That maybe has very different gameplay, or it's like a more action-oriented style, but just so we can get the completion of that story.
Yeah.
I would buy that. I don't know how many people would buy it, but I would buy it.
I would buy it.
The other thing I would like to see from them on Switch, Crisis Core.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice.
Now I know there's some weird licensing issues there, but I would love to see some announcement about like a Crisis Core remastered or remade or something like that.
Yeah.
Crisis Core Reborn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, sorry to take that over there, but I really, really want, there's just things that I want out of Square that I'm not optimistic they're going to give us, but if they did, like, my head would just explode.
Right.
And I feel like, I'm like, Square Enix, like, you could be printing money right now. Like, just, here's the 3 or 4 things that we want. Like, give us episode Aranea and episode Lunafreya on Switch or whatever
Noctis
platform.
Too, right?
And episode Noctis,
because I was just looking that up.
Yeah.
So Aranea, Noctis, and Lunafreya DLC has been canceled. However, Arden was released. So.
I think they kind of worked the episode Noctis storyline into... we're getting way off the Switch at this point, but I feel like they worked the episode Noctis storyline into the episode Arden a little bit. There was
they
some
probably
kind
gave
of
us
like,
a little bit, but not much.
Yeah, not enough of it. I almost want like the Snyder cut of Final Fantasy 15. Like with the Justice League, they always claim there's a Snyder cut out there. I want the Snyder cut. I want the Kojima cut.
Yeah, there we go.
Of Final Fantasy 15. That's another thing. Death Stranding. I don't want to talk about Death Stranding.
If they release more information about Final Fantasy 7 and we still aren't getting a release date on it, I don't know, Square. I don't know what I'm going to do.
It's dragging on at this point. It really is dragging on, and the amount of content they've given us is like not enough to sustain my hype.
It's been years.
Yeah, and on the one hand, I say take your time, do it right.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I say like, don't Final Fantasy 15 it.
Yeah.
Don't just say like,
that's
okay,
what I'm worried about the most.
Yeah, 8 years from now, we're going to be still hearing about, hey, guess what? We added materia to the game finally. Like, it's taken forever, and they give these little tidbits, and the community gets super hyped. Our buddy, the Night Sky Prince, we watch a lot of his videos on Final Fantasy 7, and he's kind of saying the same thing of like, there's all these leaks, and then they retract them, and there's news coming out, and this and that. Either give us like some solid news, or like just go radio silent and start focusing on what's actually out there right now.
So I'm hoping they're not releasing anything new.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, I want new information on it.
Yeah.
Only if they're saying, "Hey, it's being released like in 2 months or something."
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. Like I'm just tired of hearing about it, having it like dangled in front of me, and then being like, "Well, when's it coming out?" Like.
So that's our E3 predictions there. I agree with you there. I want to see solid data, but I want to see solid data from everybody. So one thing I do like about Nintendo is that they are going to give us some hard dates. They are going to show some gameplay footage. They've been very kind of clear on like what they're going to show us. Square, I'm optimistic about Square Enix just because they've been kind of firing on all cylinders lately, except for 15, right? I mean, 14's been good.
Yeah.
A lot of their third-party games have been really good.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider, things like that. So they have a really good kind of publishing lineup right now. So we'll see how that goes. Bethesda, Microsoft, Xbox. I know there's a ton of people out there that care. I just don't. I'm over Bethesda at this point. We've seen what Bethesda can do without mods and without the community kind of fixing their mistakes. And
Fallout
I'm
4
over
was
it.
Amazing though.
Fallout 4 was good.
That was their high point for me. I love Fallout 4.
I love Fallout 4 as a platform. Yeah, definitely. So Animal Crossing, some competitive scene. Yeah, E3 for Nintendo is going to be huge this year. Yeah, super, super cool. So thank you for joining us for this E3 predictions video. What do you guys think? What is your favorite thing about E3? Are you excited to see more of Metroid Prime 4? Are you excited to see Pokemon Sword and Shield? Or are you just kind of checked out of this one? Are you just sort of focusing on the games that are out right now and you're just going to kind of play wait and see? Let us know in the comments because I definitely want to talk this out. It's less than 2 weeks away, so let's share in the hype. Let's get that hype train rolling.
Well, about a week away for all these previous announcements.
Oh, right. The previews, are coming up next week. That's right, absolutely. Yep. So, really, really short turnaround here, but let us know in the comments what you're most excited about. And that is going to be it for this video.
Yeah.
Wow, we went long on this one.
Yeah.
But it's a big year.
Yeah.
It's a big year. This deserves it. So, anyway, until next time, if you're new here and you liked what you saw, hit that like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Tag, gently caress that notify button. And stick around because we love talking to you guys in the comments about games. So, until next time, I have been Damien.
And Tracy.
And we will see you next time on Our Fantasy Life. Take care.
Bye.